seminary reports. We began with Dr. Danny Aiken, who is the president of the Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary. Dr. Aiken, we welcome you to the platform today.
Thank you, Mr. President, and it is an honor to bring a report today to this convention. Let me begin by saying that you can find more information about Southeastern's last year in our book of reports, but let me bring a personal word to you, and again, let me begin by saying thank you. We could not, the six of us, do what we do apart from your generous giving through the cooperative program, so thank you 1,000 times over. I want to build my report quickly around 4 major ideas that I hope will be a blessing and an encouragement to you, just to give you a snapshot of who Southeastern Seminary is. First of all, we are a Great Commission seminary. It's built into our statement of faith, and in terms of our purpose, Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary seeks to equip students to serve the church and fulfill the Great Commission. If you come on our campus, you'll hear over and over and over, every classroom a Great Commission classroom, every professor a Great Commission professor, every student a Great Commission student, with the prayer that they will be Great Commission graduates who will go out and build and serve Great Commission churches. I was recently in China with a missionary, and a number of our faculty have gone there to teach over a number of years, house church pastors, underground pastors, and he said, I'll say this about your school, everyone knows what you're about. Thank you for being so committed to the Great Commission. And of course, training students to love and to fulfill the Great Commission means we train them to go across our nation, yes, but also to go to the nations. And how has that worked for us? Well, secondly, God has blessed as we love to partner with churches in doing theological education under the umbrella of the Great Commission. This year, we are delighted to report our 6th year of record enrollment. For the first time in our history, we have passed 3,500 students. Putting that in perspective, when the conservative resurgence began back in the late 1970s through the 80s and then into the early 90s, in 1992, when Dr. Paige Patterson first came to Southeastern Seminary, we were down to 627 students. We were on probation with both of our accrediting agencies. Everyone was saying the school would not survive. In fact, the school was dead. But their prognostication of our death was premature. And God indeed has been very kind and gracious to continue to grow the school through the years so that it is now the largest seminary on the East Coast with more than 3,500 students there. We also believe that we are called to partner with the churches in doing theological education. In fact, we believe the best theological education takes place in a partnership with local churches. In that regard, we have continued to strengthen our program on our campus, having just recently revised our MDiv, having recently created several new MA programs. We now have 6 fully online degrees that you can study anywhere in the world. In fact, while I was in China, I recruited 2 Chinese students that will be enrolling in the fall. They will not be leaving the mainland of China, but through internet technology, they will be taking classes at Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary. But we also have a love for the laity in our churches, and we've been praying and thinking for several years, how is it that we might also serve even better in a direct kind of a way our local churches? So we have created what we call our Go certificates. It is a completely online program. It allows you to work at whatever rate of speed that you would like. So if you want to sprint through the program, you can give it your best shot. If you'd like to take a more slow approach, again, it is designed specifically to work with you so that you can proceed and pursue theological and biblical training at your own particular pace. It is being launched this fall. You can go by our booth and we'll be glad to talk to you about it, but just another way that we see how we can serve our churches. But one of the things that blesses me the most is our GTI program, our Global Theological Initiative. We're in more than a dozen partnerships around the globe delivering theological education. In particular, we have 50 biblical counseling students right now in Hong Kong. And just this February, I had the honor of going to Brazil and being a part of the graduation ceremony of 23 Brazilians who graduated with their Master of Theological Studies from Southeastern Seminary. One particular person stands out. As we were preparing to leave the day before we would be leaving, I was meeting with their leadership about the possibility of doing further programs with them, and I call him their Kevin Ezell. He is the president of their National Mission Board. He looked at me, and with tears running down his face, he said, "Would you do me a favor? Go back to your country and tell Southern Baptists thank you. My great-great-great-grandfather was brought to faith in Jesus by Southern Baptist missionaries. And my entire family can trace its Christian origins back to the witness of a Southern Baptist missionary, and I'm doing what I do today because Southern Baptists gave, Southern Baptists came, and our family met Jesus through their efforts. So Southern Baptists, I'm just here to tell you, thank you from Brazilian Baptists. They are so thankful for what we have done and what we will continue to do through the years ahead. And then let me say, thirdly, we want to train students who, again, will go out and build churches that will look like the church in heaven. In other words, we want thousands and thousands. In fact, we want all of the Southern Baptist churches to look like the church in heaven. And so in recent years, we have emphasized very strongly what we've called our Kingdom Diversity Initiative. We've been very intentional about this, and God, again, has been very, very kind. In the last 5 years, we've seen the ethnic minority student population at Southeastern grow from 8.3% in 2011 to more than 15.5% in 2016. That is a 137% growth in training non-white students at Southeastern Seminary. Our prayer is, of course, those numbers will only increase in the days ahead. And then finally, we want to celebrate not only in substance but also in song, and it's been announced just recently that Keith and Kristen Getty, along with Stuart Townsend, have helped us craft a new seminary hymn that fits what we are about, the Great Commission, entitled "For the Cause." And I'll close my report by simply noting what it says in verse 2. "For the cause of Christ we go, with joy to reap, with faith to sow, as many see and many put their trust in the Son. Christ we proclaim, the name above every name, for all creation, every nation, God's salvation through the Son." And so when students come to Southeastern Seminary, from the very first convocation service till graduation, they will be reminded on both ends, we are committed to being obedient to the final marching orders of King Jesus until he comes again. Mr. President, that concludes my report, and I'm delighted to take any questions that might be brought to me.
Thank you, Dr. Aiken. Do we have any questions for Dr. Aiken? We have no questions, so Dr. Aiken, we thank you and Southeastern Seminary for your ministry. Would y'all thank God for the seminary and thank God for Dr. Aiken?